Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Ordu, and I'm here to talk to you about quality discussions and quality assignments for EDU 530. I would like to start by talking about quality discussions, and I will be sharing these documents with you as an attachment. So, first of all, in order to post quality discussions, I'm providing you with some tips here. And they're in four categories: understand, read, write, and review. So you want to understand what the question is asking you. And I want to emphasize that questions can be multifaceted. So you may have a discussion prompt that has 2 or 3 questions embedded in it. And in order to get full credit for answering that particular question, you do need to respond to each and every part of it. In addition, you want to make sure that you pay attention to your APA formatting. Read. Each week you have readings and resources embedded in your modules. Make sure you read and take advantage of that information and see what you may be able to pull from it to help you answer your discussion question. Be sure to write a complete paragraph for each part of your discussion board. For example, if the discussion prompt includes 2 bulleted items or 2 questions, you may want to write 2 fully developed paragraphs to respond to each. Review. Answer these types of questions. Does your post contain a fully developed paragraph for each question? Did you include concepts, ideas, and information from the course readings? Did you cite your sources APA style? Does your post meet any word count requirements? And we don't really have those at SNHU, but just be mindful of the fact that you need to include enough supporting detail. And then, did you review your writing for correct grammar, punctuation, and spelling? And I included a quality discussion posting based on one of the questions in your course, the one related to developing a research question and then talking about ethics. So you can see here that the student provided their research question, explained to the reader that it's from scenario 3 of the final project document, and then provides some information related to that question. They also have a detailed explanation of ethical issues related to their discussion topic. You can see that they cited their sources in the body of the discussion, and those same sources are included here in a reference list. And actually, above Mertler, it should say references, and I will fix that before I provide it to you. Now, when you're responding to other students, you want to keep in mind having substance. So I'm providing here some substantive versus some non-substantive discussion postings. Basically, in terms of substance, you want to include enough length and detail to fully react to what the other student says. You don't have to write this much, but you do want to write enough that you are able to elaborate sufficiently. And there are multiple examples here. Here's a sample, the second one. All of them have a reference list. Now, you do not have to include a reference list necessarily with reply postings, but you definitely need to include them with your initial posting. Here's another one, and this one actually does not include a reference list, and it is to John from Michelle. Something else you want to do is call your colleagues by their name. So don't just post your response. Be personal and call them by their name. Each of these substantive postings are detailed enough. They may include research, expand on something the other person said, or even quote something the other person said, and then elaborate on it further. Each of them exhibit critical thinking. Now, these are not considered substantive. These are your ones that are just really brief. They look like they're hurried, like somebody just wanted to type something up and get it out of the way. And there are 3 of those samples here. What makes them not substantive? They're too brief. They may include evaluative comments like great posting. Students should not evaluate postings of other students because that's the responsibility of the course instructor. So try to refrain from saying things like, oh, this was a great, very good job. Focus more on quality and reacting to what the other student is saying. And then your reply postings, maybe in the neighborhood of 125 to 100 words. There's no solid expectation, but this is just an average to kind of help you think about that. So you'll get a copy of this. And that is the gist of that one. There's another one I'm going to give you, and this one provides additional information on how to reply in a quality way to other students. And it gives you some actual action items and things that you can do: agree or disagree with their posting, expand on their post, reply to a question, maybe ask a probing question, or share some type of insight. So that is what I wanted to share about quality initial and reply postings. Now let's switch over and talk about quality papers. And so this week you have a short paper. Let's start with the short paper. This is a 3-2 short paper from a previous course. And you can see, first of all, you need to set it up APA style. So you need your page numbers and you need certain information on the title page. And then you always want to include an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. In the body of your paper, you should have sections. This one has research participants, data collection, analysis processes, and publication of findings, then the conclusion, and then your reference list. And that's the basic order of organization in terms of having a really good paper. Also notice the student did include multiple research citations throughout the document. This is a really good paper and a really good example of what you want your paper to look like. Now, you always want to start with the instructions. And so for the Module 3 short paper, where did the student get those section headings? Well, they got them right here out of the instructions that are in the guidelines and rubric. So they are highlighted, they are bulleted, and this is how you come up with how to organize your paper and what to include in terms of those headings. Now, it always gives you an amount, like it says 1 to 2 pages here with double spacings, Times New Roman, 12 point, etc. You can go beyond the minimum in terms of number of pages. I don't mind you doing that within reason. Now, looking at the Module 2, going back to the Module 2 journal, when you set up your journals, you want to do the same thing. You want to focus on that prompt that's in the guidelines and rubric, and you want to base how you organize your journal paper on exactly what you see here. And I'll show you an example in just a minute. This one says 2 to 3 pages, and it gives you the same tips. Now, let's go back and take a look at the sample of the 2-1 journal. Again, we want to set up our title correctly, title page correctly. And then we want to have our introduction. For this one, the first section, they talk about the qualitative approach. You did have to include 2 to 3 paragraphs. So when I'm grading these papers, I'm going to be looking to make sure you have 2 to 3 paragraphs on each of the methodologies. And this student does have that. Quantitative approach. Again, they have 2 to 3 paragraphs. And then they have their research question and their conclusion. And at the end is the reference list. So that's how you put together a quality journal, a quality paper, and then also I've given you something to think about in terms of providing quality discussions. So hopefully this information will be helpful to you as we continue the course. If you need any assistance from me, please let me know.